Good evening, folks. Hey, this is Jeff Fisk at Bestill Creations, and I was just been a while since I've done a video, but I'm gonna do my best here to throw this together and maybe help a few of you out. And most importantly, what this is for. More than likely, if you receive this, it's going to be my way to streamline a couple things and make the receiving of your new custom Omega from Bestill Creations to go smooth and easy and everything totally understood and just make it easy. So I'm going to jump right into it. Um, Appreciate you joining me here. What I got is right here is, in my opinion, a really good Thompson Center Omega. This is for a customer, and there's not a penny, not one penny cut short on this thing, not amount of time cut short on it, and I believe there possibly some still stuff I'm gonna work on, but I feel like I've got it just about where I want them. This here does not have a ramrod on it, and I'll go over that. This gun, the customer did not want a ramrod on it. But I'm going to start off, give you some of you guys an ideal. Let me grab something real quick. But anyway, back here, I'm going to show you. This here is a Thompson Center Omega, a factory barrel for a Thompson Center Omega. And many of you know and been down the road before, so your trigger assembly hangs on this hanger. And this model here, actually this one had the rear lug was welded to the barrel, the front one screwed on. Most of the later ones, both blocks was screwed on to the barrel. Inevitably, guys have accuracy issues, and what's going on is these two screws are coming loose and it's moving. So as you guys know, this has been about 7 years, I guess, since the first time I did an Omega conversion. And what I did then, this was all made into one block and was screwed on with dowel pin, was pinned on and screwed. That worked okay, but it was what it was. It was a prototype, and it evolved. So what I've done is over time of doing this, this here is what we've ended up with. This is as good a barrel, in my opinion, that you can buy on earth. I'm not going to openly disclose. The customers who buy one of these can get the information. They're going to get a barrel drop, and they're going to get the ID tag off the end of it. I've got a gentleman making these. He's really good in the big bore guns. Let's just say that. And I feel blessed to be able to get them. Now, this year has been a real trauma to get barrels, but this is what it is. This is a 19 twist, 45 cal, 450 bore. The groove depth has been altered on this barrel. All of them that I've produced this year and last year was altered from the typical 458. I have an opinion of that. Mostly that you guys know I compete in Blackhorn, and I feel like I've found a trick. But anyway, they work. They flat work. As you see, there's two lugs that's been made. These are just raw. This came straight from the welder, believe it or not. No cleanup has been done to that. That is exactly how they came. He's phenomenal. The barrel gets preheated. Well, the blocks are made precision. They've got a pocket that they set in. It's about 15 thousandths deep. We got a jig that mounts them onto the barrel. Holds them in place while he welds it. The barrel is preheated with the jig on it. He tigs them on. Then they go into a sand bath that's already preheated in an oven. And then they're brought down to ambient temperature. It creates no stress into that barrel at all. Took me a long time to find a guy that was capable of welding 416R stainless, which is not the easiest thing to weld on, and to find the right donor rod and the right lugs. So material, we figured that out. That's it. They're welded on. They're not going to go anywhere. I've actually got a local guy now that's doing the fluting that did an outstanding job on them. So they're obviously straight. They taper out. to nothing. You can kind of see that on the end. Really, really nice. Levi Reed, I've worked with him for several years. He designed this brake specifically for me. It's close. It's a self-timer, as you can see. So you screw this nut down and you run this brake all the way down, and then you bring it up and level it with your gun. Lock the nut in place. These brakes, some don't. I don't know. This is just me. Feel like chasing every ounce of accuracy. Everything is done on this barrel from bore center. So the brake is installed, timed, and then I get them undersized on the ID. Then they're bored to the bore. So everything is in line, perfect. They're bored in line to the bore and to accept a funnel, load through funnel. This is a little news. A lot of guys wanted this year. I hope I can get it to pop up there a little bit, but it now has Bestill Creations on the barrel engraved in it. You'll see there's a pile of holes in that, and I have a mindset of why, but anyway. Using Boyd stocks, the laminate stocks are very stiff and rigid. So I have about 7-inch footprint with this bottom where it gets bedded into the stock. I only bed the lugs in them because there's no reason to bed the barrel. This is part of the gun, so I have no action. So that being rigid, MG&M made these rails special to what I wanted, to exact the OD of the barrel that I wanted. And they have 8 holes in them, 648, 8 of them. That gets bedded and Loctited right onto the barrel. So now, when this is in place, goes about here, I feel like that between the laminate stock, this being bedded into that stock, put in place, this rail on top is rock solid. It has 10 minutes in it, which the reason I did that is literally they was coming out dead on zero with a zero rail. Very little adjustment when I first mounted up a Leopold scope on them. So I went 10 minutes, so the thing is no more than 10 off at your zero, and 10 minutes will get you 400, thereabouts 400 yards with one of these rigs. So it's just ideal. So Picatinny, it is steel, so they ain't got to worry about nothing happening with that. Most of you know that purchased a gun, I had certain criteria I was going to sell. I'm only going to use the best parts I can put on the gun. I've done a lot of playing. I ended up going with this year, or last year I guess it was. I'm using Zeiss precision rings. They're not cheap, but I think they're just absolutely outstanding. They have a little built-in level in them that's very discreet. It's on the side. It's pretty small. It is usable, and I tell most guys that to me, I mean, it's just, for me, it's practice. At the range, I'm shooting, I want to make sure I pull my gun up, set it up, and I want to feel like I know if it's level or not, but that's verification. But those are 30 mil, they're really low, sets down tight. I'll show you this complete gun, but Zeiss rings, like you say, as good a parts that I feel like I can buy. Most every gun, absolutely every gun I did this year has that scope on it. It's a Leopold VX5 HD 3 to 1544 with either a fire dot or a Winplex in it. They're going to have a dope chart. I feel like the fire dot is the way to go. But as you can see, it's nice and tight to the gun. Very compact. This gun's 41 inches long. It's got a 27-inch barrel on it. Overall 41 with the brake on it. And that gun right there, ready to hunt, is right at 10 pounds. Absolutely outstanding. 500 yard bang dead all day long. Been doing a lot of testing. These are coming in right at about 14 minutes of drop at 500 yards from 100 yard zero. Incredible gun. You'll see the same logo is on the brake. Didn't touch on that, but Bestill Creations is on the brake also. Pretty neat. No idea they'd ever get to this point, but they've turned out really nice. So I'm going to show you here real quick on this. We're going to jump. So go over the gun real quick. Everything on here has been Cerakoted. Perfect. Everything matches. Clean, nothing, low maintenance. I've talked about before, you'll see these pillars that's put in here. They're escutcheon, so you got a big washered head that's a pillar that goes in rock. So when everything bolts up, it's just rock solid. Socket head, 5/32, just like a Remington 700. Two nice healthy screws in there to hold it in place. Most of them are getting pick rails on them. This guy wanted just a standard sling. I'm also offering QD mounts in the side, quick detached slings in the side. A lot of them are getting that. These is my favorite. The Pro Varmint, adjustable cheek piece, limb saver, butt pad on it. Just a really comfortable gun to shoot. Bear with me because I'm going to transition real quick over here and go over the main meat of what this is all about. Probably been professional. This has been edited together and whatever, but it is what it is because I'm not that guy. Hopefully that works out right there. So I got the gun sitting here. Some of the guys, most of them bought complete package guns. Everything's done. But I'm going to give you a quick rundown. When you get the gun, you're going to get the barrel drop that come off of them. I buy them long. I want them to have a good drop. I want them to have the piece of the barrel. But also get the butt of the barrel. It's got the ID tag on it that's been cut off in the lathe and saved for you also. What I'm going to show you here is that I found this to be dead almost true. This gun in particular is set up with Arrowhead 275 XLDs. I'll tell you, those are outstanding. The Pittman bullets, the Fury bullets, and I'm personally going to be playing with the 275 Parker Black Maxes this year. I just want to see it. These guns are shooting about 25-50 on average, and I feel like that Black Max may be ideal. They're pretty thick jacket, so I got to hit them pretty good. But so what I've been finding is, if you start out, you get a gun. If you don't have me set it up where they've got the bullets already, the die's already set, the bullets come pre-sized, and then you can buy more and size them with the die, you're going to get this drop. And what I've found is, and I've talked to several, same thing, starting out with a cold, clean gun, never been shot. This is the drop. This is the muzzle end off the drop. Obviously, it's been lapped, hand lapped, so it's a little bigger at the start. What I found is a starting point. You size the bullet until it pushes down a little bit tension until literally the tip is the only thing that you can't push in very easily. I found that is an absolutely perfect starting point for one of these guns. So all I've done is I'll show you real quick. Here's a brand new bullet right out of the box. I got the die set, and I just worked my way down until it fit that drop. I'm going to squeeze it through there 2 passes. A lot of guys lube them. I don't mess with all that. I think it's a waste of time. But that's just me. 2 passes through the die. Here's the drop. I'm going to put it in there, ease it down, and it just gets snug when the tip enters the barrel. That's because it's lapped. But the rest of this is absolutely fits. And it's going to just a nice tension. It ain't a lot, but when you're doing it like this, it's not as easy to push on. So there's the bullet. Here's that gun we carried over here. It's gonna come with a funnel, loading funnel. It's got an easy, quick detach ring on it. If you want to separate it, leave it with it. I recommend keeping this lanyard on there as much as possible. You won't shoot your funnel down range. You're gonna have a 209 decapper. Comes on the lead. Everything's on it. Throw it around your neck, whatever you want to do, but that's what you need to run this gun. You're going to have this funnel. You throw it in the barrel. You're going to load your powder wad, shove a bullet in it. I'm going to show you real quick. These been around a long time. And for these Omegas, I think is the absolute perfect thing for smokeless powder. It holds your 209 primer on the top. You shove the bullet in there. Tip first. Let's just show you. You take that bullet I just sized, and you're going to take this thing. I'm going to do it because I have guys ask me. You literally stick the bullet in from the bottom end, put the wad in underneath of it, shove it up with your thumb. These guns put 60 grains, H4198 or N120. I found is shooting absolutely virtually the same. I believe I'm going to like the M120 really well, but H4198 is an absolute winner also. You put the powder in it, close the lid on it, you put your 209 primer in there, you're ready to go. So you want to load it the first time. This gun's perfectly spotless, ain't been shot. So what you're going to do is you're going to pop the cap off of it, dump the powder in right through that tube. You're going to throw this right in the top, and you stick your loading rod in there and you shove the wad and bullet right in the barrel. You're going to notice this loads like literally one finger. This gun's not been shot, so it's an absolutely clean barrel. It's going to be really, really close. I tell guys, take 2 or 3 bullets, run them through the die one time, go to the range, shoot those, because they won't be quite as small, to get the gun fouled. You won't have no chance of a misfire that way. If the bullet ain't tight enough, it will not go off. With the 209 ignition, it will not. As soon as it's fouled and you snug the bore up, it's going to go off every time if you do your part. You do the stuff that needs to be done. I'm confident in saying that. There's no issue with 209s, with 4198 or M120 in these guns. So that bullet just shoved it straight through. I'm going to pop the action open, get my wad out because I didn't put no powder in it just for demo. But there's the bullet. So you've shot this gun, you've got it dialed in, don't clean it. The fouling is there for a purpose. Every rifle shoots better once they're fouled. We know that with the smokeless muzzleloaders. So you've got this thing tuned in, you're shooting, everything is ideal. You take it home, put it in a dry safe, somewhere that's controlled, put it away. When you want to go hunting again, I catch flack over this. I've been doing it for my whole time of smokeless. This is my way. Everybody's got their own. There's several doing this. Put your funnel in there. Everything you do, you have your funnel in the barrel. It protects your crank. Everything about it's good. You can run a patch down there if you want to. In my experience, if I run a patch and it's fouled, more than likely the patch can be stuck at the breech plug and I got to take it apart. I put the gun away, get ready to go hunting. I'm going to load it the first time. I never store a loaded gun. Guys go on and on about that. Call me, hey, my gun ain't been shot since last year. Can I just pull the trigger on it? Sure. The bullet may be stuck and you have a big, huge pressure spike. But, you know, I tell them absolutely not. It takes a few seconds to pull the breech plug, knock it out of it. So don't leave them loaded. It's safe. It's a lot safer an empty gun. And there's no chance that you pull it out. I'm not sure if it's loaded, which is silly, but that's what witness marks are for on a ramrod, to know your depth. Don't store it unless you're hunting tomorrow. If you're putting it away, shoot it. Just shoot it, put it away. So I'm going to load. The fouling gets hard, and everybody knows as soon as you pull a bullet back out. I was shooting at the range yesterday, everything was perfect, and I let it set for 2 months, and now I went to load a bullet and I got to drive it in with a hammer. All you need to do is take this brass brush. You're going to get this rig with the gun. It's got a ball on it, real nice. It's a polymer ramrod. It's flimsy. It's what I use. And a brass brush. You can take the gun, take that brush, run it down, and back out. Down, back out, stroke it a couple times. That's all you need to do. All you're doing is breaking that fouling, so when you load that bullet, it'll go right back down the way it did to start with. Some have probably watched me. I do that actually in some of the competitions, so I do that between shots. It just is, it's bore consistency. So that shows a little bit of that. Few of you talked about IMR. Right now, the one thing that scares me to death, I watch on the smokeless boards and all the gun boards, is we can't find the powder that we know, we've tested, proven, and guys have spent years and years and years perfecting what powders to use with which bullets in these guns, depending on what gun it is, and the barrel profile and everything that goes with it. Since there's a powder crunch, so everybody, well, can I use this? Can I use this? Why can't I use that? And some of the stuff they ask you to use has no rational idea that's even on the planet of being in the same burn rates. So use the right powders or just don't use it. Your life's worth more than that, than just trying something silly. Or call somebody that knows what they're doing and will give you good information. My opinion, these guns are designed for a max pressure around 45,000. I don't like to go there, They're a 1-inch shank gun. I have absolutely tried everything. IMR 4198. A lot of guys use it. I don't like it. I think it's nowhere near the caliber of powder in this case as H4198. This is very stable, consistent from warm to hot, to cold temperatures. It's very consistent. This thing's all over the map once it gets cold. I've had these shooting side by side in 80 degrees, 60 degrees, 50, 40. Can't tell a difference. 60 grains, it just shoots the same. But I had an experience last year that this thing at about 20 dropped about 200 feet per second. It sounded like a pop gun. Tried different lots, same thing. So for me, this is out for these guns, for me. And I hope that's what I'm going to recommend. H4198 is a winner. Tested. The barrel lengths I'm running, the rifling depth, everything, it loves 59.5, 60 grains of powder. Just loves it. I have surprisingly just started playing with the N120 again, and it's 60 grains. It's literally shooting spot on with this at 60 grains. So H4198, N120, 209 ignition, snug bullet on a fouled barrel. You got to use a wad. Don't use veggie wads in these with these side port brakes. Use the wool wads. So that does that. I'm going to run back, take you on another trip back. I know it's the best I can do. I'm alone in the shop here, but we're going to run back over here and go to the breech plug maintenance and putting this thing together, ready to go shoot for the first time. You don't have to take your breech plug out hardly ever. You have to do one of the downsides of this simple convenience of a 209 primer is you got to do a little bit of breech plug maintenance. So anybody gets one of these is going to get this really cool little tool I made. It is nothing more than a piece of steel. Got a hole drilled in with a set screw, 5/32 drill bit. These are ASG 209 plugs. There's a couple little differences you're going to find if it comes out of my shop. I believe we went to these was made with a 9/64 flame channel in them. Really designed to have either a 1/4 by 3/8 30 thou bushing in them, or a 1/4 by 35 bushing in them, and a 9/64 hole. I get them. First thing I do to them is I'm going to drill them out to 5/32. So you're going to get a 5/32. The flame channel is now 5/32, and I'm using a 1/4 by 1/4 by 30 thousandths bushing that Luke fixed me up with. I believe in all my testing that's the most consistent ignition I can get with an ASG 209 plug. Others may have a different opinion. I use Federal 209A primers. I put about 5 thousandths crush on them, so they're going to seal. I don't manipulate the pocket much. I want them to drive in there pretty tight. That's why you're going to see when you get a gun, you're going to have this 209 decapping tool. You're not just going to be able to stick it in there like the old Omega and reach in your fingers and pull it out, because it's going to be pressed into there so it don't leak. If you want to leak, don't take this drill bit and clean the plug. Just leave it alone forever. And here's your deal. If you don't clean that flame channel every 20 shots, and I mean 20 shots, if you don't keep that clean, I don't care if you have to drill it every 5 if it makes you comfortable, but if you let it go past 20-25 shots, the carbon starts building up, and that 2 things is happening. We know this is a little reservoir, so think about it in theory. A 209 primer, what I can understand, is good to about 19,000, 20,000 pounds of pressure. We're putting 40 in this, so it doesn't math out. The primer is going to explode if you didn't have no flame channel. So all the plugs with 209s was designed with a flame channel. This flame channel is about that deep. I'm going to say it's about 800 deep to the bushing, and then it's got a 30 thousandths bushing in it. So let's just keep shooting it. Carbon builds up, carbon builds up, carbon builds up. There's a point when the carbon builds up so much that what happens is when the primer goes off, it's almost like a time delay. It flashes hot spark in there ignites the powder, and it's coming back through that 30 thousandths hole while the bullet's going down out of the barrel. If there's not enough reservoir in here before the bullet exits, it's going to equalize pressure, and it's going to bulge the primer. Probably not in these because they set really deep. But what it's going to do, it's going to flame cut past it. If it flame cuts once and cuts the seat, it's going to do it forever. I don't care if you now you think, oh no, I got smoke out of the back of my gun. I need to clean it. Well, it's probably too late. So it's not a huge investment. You replace the plug. What I'm saying is you won't have to do that, I mean, for a long time. If you just simply use this drill bit every 20 shots or so, and you can do it in the gun, and I'll show you that, but you can go in and you can drill that carbon out. Second thing's going to happen is you can let it build up with carbon, and it can be leaking soot and blowing smoke out of the back of a 209 gun, and it's probably going to go off when you're out there shooting at the range in the summer. If it's sub-zero and you're out on a big buck and you've packed it around for 2 days and it doesn't go off because it's built up with carbon, it will absolutely affect the ignition because all that carbon restricts the amount of gases that can shoot into your primer. It's all my theory, but I've proven in the real world with stuff that went wrong and figured out that's it. To me, the 700 ml module plugs are even worse to keep the carbon clean if you want cold weather ignition. All this stuff got a bad rap until we figured out how to take care of it, and if it's done right, there's no issues whatsoever. So again, this is me. This is how I do it. I do this because I shoot a lot of Blackhorn and stuff, but I figured out there's no negative to it. There's absolutely no negative. You're never going to stuck breech plug. Does it help sealing? No, but it's a barrier. So we got a plug, we got a stainless barrel, metal on metal thread, which is good. I take white simple Teflon tape. I start at the beginning thread. I wrap it one layer right up the plug. It's literally, some guys, I don't need to do that. Well, it don't take very long. That's how long it took me to wrap the threads on the plug. I take good gun oil. I take right down the side of it, I put oil on it, just a stripe. Open the action up, 7/16, a good 6.7/16 socket. Stick it in the back of the gun, start it in there. Run her down until make sure it bottoms out. You don't have to use a pipe wrench or a breaker bar. Just snug it up good and snug. That's it. That breech plug, I have my personal Omega going on 2 years. If it wasn't for me playing with bullets and taking it out, trying to size something goofy, I wouldn't take it out. I wouldn't mess with it. I'd brush the bore before I load it, shoot it, go hunting, do whatever I want. Get ready. If I'm going to store it, shoot it. I shoot my smokeless gun all the time. If I see something, a rock or something, or I got a steel target here and there, I just shoot it. I set up on it like I'm hunting, I shoot it. I'm out of bullet and a load, but my gun's empty. I'm comfortable with doing whatever with it. When I get ready to load it, I run that brass brush to it, load it up, and go hunting with it. Again, back to the drill bit tool. After about 15 or 20 shots, 10, 5, whatever you want to do, get in a habit. You take a little rag, you lay it over the trigger assembly, drop it below the breech plug, take this drill bit, you go in there, it comes back far enough that it'll go right in under your scope. You got plenty of room, you can drill that carbon out of it. If you don't have an air compressor handy, just keep you a can of compressed air. Blow it out good. Always make sure you can see through the flash hole before you load it. First every time. That way you know if it's either loaded or there's something blocking that flash hole. If the flash hole's plugged up, it's simply you take a little wire or something, run through there and clean it out. It's 30,000, so you need something under 30,000 so you can pick it out. Usually you take the nozzle and compressed air, go up there and blast it once. You shoot any debris that's stuck in there and make sure it's clear. Always make sure that flash hole is clear before you load it. It will go off. If it's not, you don't know what you got. So the flame's got to get to the powder to go boom, and it's got to do it in an efficient manner. Clean breech plug, Federal 209As. They fit snug. A nice snug fitting bullet, wad under it, H4198 N120. It'll go boom every time. Absolutely every time. So hopefully that helps a guy getting started with one of these. Covers some questions. Let me grab the here's my personal Omega, and I just show you that's with the ramrod on it. Real nice. It's got a little spring detent. Keeps the ramrod snug. Nice thimble. Most of them I've switched to the non-swivel just for the hunting ramrods, and now they're getting painted black, so there's none of that brass jag. And you guys will receive your gun. You all get this laminate drop chart. This one here in particular is out to 700. This is for mine just because it's silly, because I want to. But most of them are going to come with a drop chart out to 500 yards. 500 yards, my gun's running 13 and a half minutes to 500 yards. And still carrying 1,450 pounds of energy. So most of us figure you like to have 1,000 pounds. This little jewel for a little bitty compact gun, 700 yards, 25 minutes to drop, still got 938 pounds of energy. So in theory, if you can shoot it, it's a really solid 650. It's still 1,000 at 650 is 1,000 pounds of energy. Velocity there is 1270. So ideal. I mean, it's a doable, absolutely doable in the right situations. I sell these as solid under sub-minute 400-yard guns. That's all I promote them at. They'll do less than that by far. Super happy. Any of you guys is waiting, I'm getting closer. Getting a lot closer. Let's just say that. I'm wrapping up several. This gun right here has got to go to the range. It's ready to go. Take you a quick, I know it's stretched on, but it is what it is. Take you a quick rundown. There is, let me turn that. There's 5 stocks that's completely ready. All the metal work is at the Cerakote getting put together right now as we speak. There's 2 up here on the shelf that are in the process of being bedded. I'm having trouble with this camera and me. There's 3 more getting bedded, and all the metal's here. You'll see a lot of Leopold scopes there. CDS dials, we're going to get a good drop chart, and then we'll order CDS dials. Leopold's way behind, and I'm not going to hold up on guns for waiting on a CDS dial. So we'll get your gun delivered to you. In here you can see it's pretty busy, but we got boxes. Each person got their stuff going. A couple extra barrels that I got for next year getting started already. So we're making progress, fellas, and I appreciate it. Hopefully this helps somebody. I drug on a little bit, but I ain't done a video in a while, and hopefully it helped you. You guys receive your gun and you got questions, feel free to give me a call. Today is, I don't know, I think the 7th or 8th or something, November. Our gun season opens the 13th. I haven't gotten in the woods once, which is phenomenal for me, but yeah, I have priorities that have responsibilities to get these things going, and we're getting there. So again, thanks for your patience. Saying that, November 13th, this Saturday, our gun season opens for 2 weeks, and I probably will be hunting as much as possible, and I'm still going to pound away getting these delivered. So God bless you. Appreciate your time, and I appreciate your supporting my business. Looking forward to next year. I'm going to cut back, but still going to build some really nice package, full-blown package Omega is probably all I'm going to do. And Just feel like that's where I'm at. It's a good deal. These guns are outstanding. And they're just a little different. So thank you and have a good evening. Bye.